This is Peter Stronach. I'm a principal of Jack+Cottier, and this is a house I've completed in Mittagong. This is not a weekender, this is a farm. It's a working farm on several hundred acres of beautiful rolling hills. The people who live in this house breed bulls. It's the third one in a series of houses that attempt to address some quite pragmatic ways of making these buildings energy frugal, and therefore the need to air condition them or centrally heat them has been negated. I'll talk about those principles later. So that's where it is. It's about 4 kilometres from Mittagong, just a little bit off the old Hume Highway. The big diagram is the house is an L shape, which replaced an existing house that was also an L shaped. The wing on the western side is a single story wing. It is the farm business, so it's an office. There's a mudroom, a laundry, which is associated with the mudroom, and that is adjacent to a whole series of existing farm sheds, machinery sheds, wood sheds, hay sheds, and all the paraphernalia that goes with a working farm. The main pavilion faces due north, and it is the residential wing. The reason for the L shape is that it turns its back on the prevailing southerlies, sou'westers and westerly winds, which in this part of the world can be quite extreme because the Southern Highlands are so named because it's right on the top of the Great Dividing Range. It also meant that we could preserve an existing established garden and keep the existing road in and the existing power. This is the approach from the north. The carport's the first thing you see, but everyone obviously that comes to this house will arrive by car. The layout is these, what I call sort of compartmentalised zones, from an all-glass zone on the eastern side to a double-storey zone next in, a core zone in the middle, which also has a sort of a butler's pantry, and then a cosy zone on the western side. And the link to the farm wing, which is the first thing you come to, is the office, the mudroom, the laundry, there's a courtyard and a carport. It's the approach from, once you've parked your car, you come down, you either turn to the right to go into the farm wing or to the left to go into the house. The house is clad in reclaimed jarrah, and it is, like those other 3 houses, it is reverse construction. The detailing is of the vernacular and is quite robust, so with a lot of corrugated iron and recycled timber. There is no paint has been used. So the principles are, I think, the L-shaped plan, and that's the L-shaped plan in terms of the way those 2 wings shelter the private open space. This is the house turning its back on the southerlies. Shifted section, the upstairs is moved 1.5 metres over downstairs to give some shelter as you walk along underneath it, and to also provide sun control for the lower level. The centre of the house is the eating kitchen, 2 storeys. This is a very big double-sided fireplace. I made the mistake on those first 2 by not putting in the biggest possible fireplace you can get, because that fireplace has got to do a lot of work to keep this house warm, which it does. We've set up a 1.8 metre grid and expressed that grid on the upper level by exposing the roof structural system. Reverse construction, this particular house is bagged brickwork on the inside, lots of insulation, and then obviously the reclaimed jarrah on the outside. The garden falls to the east, and I also do big eaves. Narrow plan is important in the principles. All these rooms, once they face north, secondly they get cross-ventilated. The compartmentalised zones, this is the central zone, the 2-storey one that exports the warm air to the upstairs. This is the glass zone, the cosy zone, the outdoor room, and the sun shading is appropriate to the orientation. So this is on the north, which is horizontal protection, and the sun shading to the east and west is sliding shutters. It's farm practicalities. You can never ever store enough rainwater. So we've got 3 out of ground 25,000 litre tanks, 75,000 litres. They overflow into an existing underground 100,000 litre tank, so there's 175,000 litres of rainwater. The wood store is critical, and the worm farm, which deals with the wastewater and all the kitchen waste, cardboard, ash out of the fireplaces. And that's the Mittagong Farmhouse, and thank you very much.